So I'd say we're pretty good manifestors, and I'd say we're pretty spiritually in tune with ourselves. So like
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I've seen going into 2024 is the notion of like having goals ready. So like so you can take 2024 by the balls and like
Unlike it's an every year thing, right? Like people have their New Year's resolutions every year.
and the New Year's like I'm pretty sure there's a stat behind the New Year's resolution that like most people, like 90% of people don't ever complete their New Year's resolution. And the biggest one is losing weight. And I think just the ability to visualize and also having a vision board in some capacity, um,
Yeah.
and having that like the goal set allows
I
you.
think the word is probably one of the most important things.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are going to show you a strategy today to make a vision board in the most impactful way possible. And so you don't have to, it's not like the regular thing you see on TikTok where you have to like go out and print a million photos and you have to buy a board and you have to paste them all on the board, which is fun. Like it's fun to do that, especially like if you have a glass of wine and some chips and you know you're doing it with your friends. But if you're alone, if you're alone
Guacamole.
and guacamole. But if you're alone and you still want to do this, but you don't want to go through the hassle of printing stuff, we're going to show you a strategy to do that today where you can just print out the entire board itself, boom, and then you have it right there. So it's easy peasy right in your face. Yeah, did I miss anything, Ash?
No, I think when it comes to setting goals, I think you have to be realistic, but you also have to understand that if you want to get to a certain place or get to a certain goal, you have to start embodying what it takes to get there, right? Like you got to think about your dream self. What do they do every day? Okay, are they eating craft dinner for dinner? No. Maybe once every 3 months, they let their inner child have a snack day or something like that. But they're consistently eating whole foods, they're eating this, they're eating that, right? And obviously, some weeks are harder than others, but if you can set yourself up for success in your preparation, then your execution will go so much easier.
By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Franklin
Exactly.
said that one time.
Exactly. No,
So,
but it's true. Half of the work is done in your preparation,
well, that's
right? Like
that's
right now, I'm gonna.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
The lag is like I'm talking and then the lag is like catching up to me and I'm hearing you talk, so I
I know.
stop. It's like
I know. I'm getting it too. Um, but no. So right now, in 2 days, I'm helping my dad run one of his goalie mindset seminars. Think about it this way. Did you say keep talking? Okay. Okay, think about it this way in talking about like preparation and execution. Um, if we ran this seminar and we just started like 2 days before, or like a week before, or if we even set it 2 months before and we said, okay, this is the day we're doing it, but we didn't do anything to prepare for that, the execution of what the seminar would be would lack so much depth and lack so much detail that it wouldn't be what we envision it to be, right? So you can envision something, visualize something, um, see something, right? Like have this vision, but if you do not act on it, it's like the saying that we talked about last time too. Jim Carrey said, "You can't manifest and then sit down and eat a sandwich." Right? Like you can manifest and then do other things, but you also have to take the actions that it's going to take in order to get you to where you need to go or where you want to go or where you see yourself going. So the seminars is just a good example because there are so many little things that contributes to it being a success. And that means contacting clients. That means there's so many different layers. That means us getting merch ready. That means us getting all of his books ready. That means us getting all of the banners ready. That means digital preparation. That means checking if there are any food allergies. That means making all of their books. That means dealing with the venue, right? You know what I mean? Like there's so many layers to preparation that if we did not sit down and prepare, then it wouldn't turn out the way we wanted to.
Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll use the first four sharpening the axe. That's an example of that. That's like a good analogy. I'm pretty sure Abraham Lincoln is the one that said that quote. So like in terms of preparation, especially when you do anything like even when presenting in class or like say to a client, if you don't prepare prior to that, you're just going in blind, and you're more likely to lose that deal, or get a worse grade on your presentation if that's what your goal is, if you don't prepare prior to that. So like I think that's an important point, especially in the context of running events too, because events are so.
Well, yeah, and that was just to compare, right? Like an event is one thing, an assignment for school is another thing. Like they're all different examples of if you prepare properly, the execution will be so much smoother, right?
Yeah. I mean,
And that's you should treat your goals as your work as well, right? Like, yes, it's either a hobby or it's something that you've always wanted to do. But if you treat it like your work, you treat it like it's something you need to do, you need to get done, then you're going to do it, right? If you prepare properly,
and if,
set everything out.
and if we're thinking about in the context of your dad, because we're talking about his you planning the event, and you guys doing that kind of stuff for his events, he actually talked to us almost like I think a year ago about visualization and the importance of visualization and goal setting.
Mhm.
And I think one of the most important pieces of, you know, the vision board and mind maps and whatever, all that kind of stuff, is the essence of you're visualizing your life and putting it on a board. So every day you're reminded of that when you wake up, whatever, I think it's somewhere where you see it every day. So like say some people, like I know your dad told me your first clients, he makes them make like a vision or something, and they put it on the roof. So when they wake up,
No,
they see.
for his goalies, okay, so in terms of goals and visualizing and having a destination, so you want to make sure that, okay, one of his sayings is you walk into the picture you hold of yourself. So in your head, say you're a hockey goalie and you picture yourself being the Calgary Flames goalie or the Vegas Golden Knights goalie. So in your head, you don't picture yourself in the gear that you're wearing right now. You picture yourself as that Vegas Knights goalie or that Calgary Flames goalie. So what he gets them to do, well, what he does is he gets his graphic designer to Photoshop a photo of their face under like a Vegas Knights or Calgary Flames mask with the gear and the jersey and everything, and then put it everywhere. Put it in front of or on the ceiling when you wake up. Put it on your mirror. Put it on your door when you leave your house. Like put it anywhere that you walk by or you see frequently, so you are reminded of the picture that you hold of yourself. So that picture in your head solidifies. So that's kind of like why he does that, right? Because the more that you see it, the more you're going to believe it. And the things that we do and the things that happen in our life come down to our beliefs.
And because of that, I also think another important part is everyone's scared of losing something. And the biggest thing I hear is like people are scared of losing time because they don't think they're ahead enough, right? And making a vision board and having that puts you ahead because you know your destination. When you make a vision board, to make a vision board, you have to know where you're going and then what you want to become. So by even just thinking and creating a vision board, you're already putting yourself in the mindset of like, this is what I want to become. This is who I need to become, right? And because you're seeing it every day, you're going to be reminded, like if I want to read a book, I'm going to put a picture of a book on my vision board. So every day I look at it, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to read today. Oh, I need to journal today. A picture of like someone, a fit person. Oh my God, okay, that means I need to go to the gym. A picture of weights. I need to, remind yourself that those are things that you that are going to get you to become your highest self.
I'm going to show you something. I was thinking, are you telling me to stop?
Oh, no, I just need to focus on me again.
Okay. So last year I didn't make a vision board, but I wrote down my goals and I divided them up. And I didn't complete everything on this. Like I wrote it out like this. Oopsies. Okay, well, fuck these lights. Because when I turn the lights, yeah, it makes it worse. There we go. I'm blind right now. I have fitness, academic, personal, and business. And I wouldn't say that I've completed all of these, but um, in terms of business, I've met, okay, no, we didn't meet our 5,000 downloads goal, but we hit 2,000. So we're on track for that. But in terms of lashes, I've met those goals. In terms of the podcast, there's little goals we have there too. In terms of saving, I hit that goal. In terms of, I put on here, I need a bookshelf. I got a bookshelf. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't read as much as I should have, but I still had it on here. So throughout the year, even though I might have not consistently been doing exactly what I need to do, it was still a priority in my head because I put it on this list. Um, savings, yeah, exactly. Like all of that, those things, school. I forgot that I wanted to allocate time on Monday and Thursdays. Whatever, it's fine. I still my lowest grade was a B plus. So like as long as you write it down and you put it somewhere, like this was my lock screen on my iPad for the first 6 months of the year. So it was somewhere that I could see it, and I took it away because I needed to put something else as my lock screen for a project or something. So I lost sight of it, but for the time that I had it there, it did keep me on track, and it reminded me of the vision of what I wanted to see for myself, right?
I think
So
that,
it could be something
what's sorry?
I said it could be something like that. Like if you don't want to make a vision board, if you don't want to lay it down in pictures, write it down and segregate it so you can visually look at it and see it, right? Because some people are very much like visual picture people. Some people are not. Some people are better with words, better with writing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, right? Pick something that works for you, right? Build if it's a vision board that you find, like you obviously wrote down sticky notes, then you had like the on your on your iPad, like find something that works for you and go all in on that. Like for me personally, I I remember I did that too. I made like something on Canva, a document, and I put it as my lock screen, but I barely looked at it because my phone, whenever it had notifications, it blocked everything. So I wouldn't look at it. So I was like, hey, that doesn't work for me.
Also, just but I don't look at it, right?
Wait, say it
Like
again.
subconsciously, I said my
Oh,
lock screen's there. I don't go out of my way to look at it. Like subconsciously, it's there, but I'm not like clicking it to look at my lock screen. Like,
yeah. So like that's the thing. It's stuff like that. And for me, I found that the vision board itself worked the best because it's all visual. And I'd wake up every day and I'd look at it and I'd be like, okay, man, this is what you're up against today. You have to do this. And then the way I structure it, and I think like important thing that we need to talk about is how you can actually make one, like literally how we made ours for this year and how we're continuing to make ours, because I know we still need to put some images in. Um, but because we talked about before, like that notion of, not wanting to cut out a million different images and then have glue and tape them on and then buy a Bristol board and then, right?
it it depends, right? Because if you wanted to, you could find your images online, print them out at Walmart, print them out at Staples, or go buy a few magazines and like make it a fun little project night. Like you could do that.
Yeah.
And that's like what people do or have normally done in the past.
Yeah. That's what I did
But
last year.
you don't have time to do that, or if you don't say you'd rather do that with friends and you just haven't been able to see your friends recently, that's totally fine. You can save the physical time for doing it when you do have time. It doesn't hurt to have a physical one that you've made and and a digital one, right?
Yeah.
But
That's what I did too. I made one last year. That's what I did. I did a digital one on my phone, and then I made a physical one. And like that night, it was me and my sister. We were sitting. We got wine. We were drinking wine. We were like eating a charcuterie board while we were making our vision boards, and it was like a nice little activity to do. But prior to that, it was hard because we had to set up. We had to find all the photos. We had to print them out at Walmart. It was like a little costly because you have to print hundreds of photos and then get them all printed, and like it was a whole thing. This method is more so for like,
exactly that is sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say that's like by choice. Like if you
Yeah.
would prefer to do that and do that because it is fun and it adds a little bit of excitement to it. For what Mano's going to say, you can also do it where you plan, like we planned, we made guac and um we had some fun, whatever. And so we still did that. Uh, but obviously it really depends on what you like and what's easiest for you time wise.
Exactly, right. And so for this case, this year we didn't have time to go out and do all those things because Ashley and I are
I thought we were. We walked to the dollar store and I'm
yeah.
like, do we need these? And Mano's like, no, we're doing it
Oh
on
yeah,
Canva. Are we not?
you picked up Bristol boards and I was looking and I was like, wait, why do we need Bristol boards? And you're like, our vision boards. And I was like, oh no, we're doing it on Canva. And we could have honestly done it.
We had a miscommunication
We did.
here.
We could have honestly done it on paper. I don't mind. But this strategy is
It would
for
have taken more planning. It would have taken
it
way
would have
more planning.
it would have taken way more plan because we would have needed that day. We would have needed to go to Staples and print everything and then find our photos and yeah, it would have been a hassle. But this new way actually came from TikTok, okay? And I don't know what the creator's name is, but I saw it on TikTok and then I took it and Minashi did it. And what this strategy is essentially you go on Canva and you create a Canva document, a custom file size that
Yeah.
is, I think it's like what, 24 by 30 something, I think. Let me see.
Either that, but
Wait,
you can also search up templates, right?
I think it's, hold on, let me see how much it is. Can I see how big it is? It's like 24 by 36, I think.
Yeah, because a little bit bigger than the poster I just printed. Yeah.
Yeah, 24 by 36. Oh, no, I see it. 36 by 24. That's the file size. So when you go into Canva, you create a custom file size and you do 36 by 24 inches. It brings you like a board, and like that board is like the size of the vision board, a good size. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to go into the elements section on Canva, and you're going to search up like the grids, and you're basically just gonna take one of the grids that you find that have a 3 by 3 layout, so like 9 in total in the grid, and you're gonna put 2 or 6 on your board. So you're gonna put 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and then you're gonna fill in all those photos with photos that you like. And within each 6 boxes should have like a box in the middle of them that has some sort of affirmation in it. So say like the photos around the first 6 cubes are about like the podcast, um, and that kind of stuff. Like if they're about like we want to grow on the podcast, then the quote in the middle of those is going to be something related to growth, or the affirmation is gonna be like, I have 1 million downloads on our podcast, right? Something that affirms what the other images around it are showcasing. Like a travel one could be like, I travel the world for fun, like stuff like that. Like I am financially wealthy.
We did on ours. I had, oh no, you can't see on there. On mine for my podcast one, my quote was if you want to hit the target, aim above it. And then for my lifestyle, my quote was motivation is what gets you started, habit is what keeps you going. And then for like finances, the more you learn, the more you earn. So
Yes.
like things like that. And I just actually, so I went on Canva right now on my phone and I searched up vision board just to see kind of the options they have for templates. And oops, not in my own. And they do have some different like intricate designs, but in terms of like printing out a poster that kind of represents the way you would be able to do it physically, I think doing what Mano is saying would benefit because then you have space for those quotes and you have space to add like enough photos and segregate each thing versus having it all scattered into one, right? Because it's nice to be able to look at something and okay, this is lifestyle. Okay, this is education. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, this is love. Like having it separate. So either search up what or do what Mano said in terms of finding the grid and putting it on there, or you can go on Canva and search up vision board. They also have different vision planners as well. Some of them are though only for pro, so
Hmm.
just be aware when you're making them on there.
The method I mentioned is free, completely free. All you got to do is just
There
go
we
in.
go.
It's all you do is you just pick the custom size, you put the grid, and you put your photos, a white cube. So you can go to the elements and then literally get a white rectangle. Put the white rectangle in the middle of in the center of 6 images. So it's gonna be 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, and then a white rectangle like directly in the middle. You put your affirmation quote, whatever, inside of that, and you do that for every remaining like 6 cubes. And
Yeah.
then you take that document, you download as a PNG, a JPEG, whatever, a high quality, and then you basically print it in real size, and you will get a 36 by 24 poster that you can then hang up. You can go get a frame for it and frame it, so it's always
Don't
anywhere.
go to,
What?
don't go to Staples.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't go to Staples. They're scammers.
And
Do not.
if you're gonna pick with Staples, order it online. So do it from your home versus going in. You
Yeah,
just don't want to deal
they're
with
not
it
that
when you go.
helpful. They are not that helpful. So I'd say that. I'd say physical vision boards are more impactful than digital ones. Because like you may be on your phone, but on your phone or on your iPad, like you're gonna be going on different apps, and when you're on a different app, you can't see it at all. When you're in
Well,
person,
and that's
it's always in your face.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say too, is subconsciously if we have it on our phone or our iPad, whatever, and like again, I said, yeah, it was there, but I didn't look at it all the time, is because I don't relate my goals to looking at my iPad or looking at my phone, right? Those are up here, those are in my head, those are in my notebook, wherever. So if you can separate it and have a physical copy where like this thing, my phone, 444.
Before
That was
I literally, as you
but my phone, I use this for work. I use this for lashes. I use this for personal. I use this for all of that. So in my head, that's what this is related to, right? Like the stress, the anxiety, the hard work, the whatever. So that's what this is related to. But then if you put it on paper, if you whatever, it keeps it completely separate. So then maybe you have negative emotions about going on your phone. Like I know if I've had a long day and I go on my phone, I'm like, no, okay, I'm not doing that. I want to lay down. I don't want to look at technology for any longer. You go lay down. Oh my God, my vision board's there. Okay, now I can lay down and I can like look at my vision. And instead of being on my phone, I can kind of just visualize or imagine or have that space to think about that stuff in a healthy way.
yeah, exactly. Um, and that's what's we get into that because I was gonna ask you where to place your vision board to have like the most impact. And as you said, like when you lay down, look at it beside your bed, right?
I
So
think if you're doing it digitally, it might be harder if you're doing it physically, but if you're doing it digitally, put it on your ceiling
wait, what do you mean?
or put it on your bed.
If you're doing it digitally, put it on your bed?
Like if you're doing, cause it's gonna be one piece of paper. If you're doing it physically, then you're gonna be gluing on a bunch of
Oh, no,
stuff.
no, no. By digitally, what I meant was like on your phone, like
Oh, I know what you meant there, but I mean creating it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know
oh,
because
okay.
of what I
Okay.
understood what you were saying. But I just mean like if you're creating it digitally, it
Yeah.
might be easier to put it on the ceiling than if you're creating it physically. No, yeah.
I
I don't
see.
worry. I don't worry. The way I responded, I understood what you meant.
Okay,
But
okay, okay. No, I was just making sure, but yes, I agree with that. I think any sense, even if you make it physically, if you make it like by pasting it on the board, or if you make it, you should be putting it in like a physically in front of you, but doing it digitally is better to put it like over top of your head so no images fall on you in your sleep.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Um, so that's a good point. And also just I like doing it physically. Like even if I design it digitally and I put it on like a in a frame or something, like I still like that because then I'm like, boom, in the middle somewhere, and then like every time I
Put
wake
it
up,
in your living room. If you
yeah,
hang out there more, put it or
yeah,
print like 3 copies.
and it's also a good indicator. Oh yeah, multiple copies. It's also a good indicator if you put it in your living room and your friends come over, and then your friends start making fun of the vision board. You know what type of friends they are. Fake, right there. I've had people see
Ever-
what
Have you ever had anyone make fun of your vision board?
I have actually in my room. I one time I pasted in my room in Toronto, and I had it like sitting there in front of my beside my bed. Um, and one of my friends came in and they saw it and they were like, "That's what do you like? What is that? What?" They're like, "Really? Money? You're putting money on your vision board? What?" Like making snarky little comments about it. So I was like, you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, most of my things on that. What's funny is when I look back at my vision board from last year, most of my vision board came true, which is actually crazy. Like I at that point before I made my vision board, I put modeling on my vision board. I literally had like at that point I did not do any modeling at all, and then literally a month after January is when we started going to the modeling stuff. And we started, and then I looked, I was like, wait a minute, this is so weird. Like, I did not, like, so
Well, because if you don't open your mind up to be like to doing it, then you're not going to say yes to the opportunity when it approaches, right?
like, that was an example of
Or
that.
you might be with the opportunity, right?
The universe opened up. Because we opened up our minds, the universe opened up its bank of opportunities for us. And that was an example. Boom. Everyone always asks. Everyone always asks both of us actually how we manage everything and how we're always doing cool shit. It's because we have manifested that. We've opened our minds up to that stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you're looking at it like, oh, it's so stressful, it's so this, which I do sometimes. Okay. It happens. We go through phases, right? You can't be in a flow 24/7 when you're taking on other people's energy all the time. But if you look at it with the attitude of, well, this is good for me, this is good for this is a new opportunity. If you go through it with gratitude, I think that's the best way to do it. Is I am so grateful to have this opportunity. I am so grateful to be in front of these people. I am so grateful to be able to do this and use my computer and be planning and speak to these people and expanding, right? If you go through it with gratitude, it'll just go so much smoother.
Everything,
Like so much, put yourself into flow when you move with gratitude.
gratitude and love. That's literally it. Like, because also when you're grateful, you're happier too. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when we think about a vision board, I mean, like, my when we think about digitally creating a vision board, obviously like it's set, like you print it and it's like a thing, but how would you go about updating and evolving your vision board as you go throughout the year? Like, would you update it or would you keep it the same throughout the whole year?
I would honestly say, okay, so say if you physically made it, you could like rip things off or whatever. Even with if you digitally made it, then printed it, I think even just like sharpieing on if like you did something, like maybe even just putting a check mark or like a heart or like done, something like that. Or if you want to add something to it, print it out, maybe found in a magazine, whatever it is, and just tape it on there, even if it was like digitally printed. Like it's your vision. So even if it's like not aesthetically 100% for what the last 6 months of the year, because there's a little bit of tape on it, it's fine. And maybe you're going to keep adding things throughout the year. So maybe it'll look just a little bit more crafty. So,
And then you talked a little bit about like marking on the board when you've accomplished something. Do you do like reviews and checkpoints throughout the year, like to look at your vision board, like I accomplished this, I accomplished this. Like, well, how do you, or do you just randomly like sometimes just look at it and like, oh wait, I accomplished this year?
um, I think it's good to keep track of what you're doing and what you've accomplished. Like sometimes we get so busy that we realize 3 months later, we're like, oh, I already did that. Well, one of my goals, I already did that. Um, but I think it's good to keep track when you can. Obviously, not all the time we can. And it also like, say for our podcast, say us hitting 2000. Okay, now we know we can increase our goal, right? So keeping track of that and marking it down is good because if you want to keep going up, if you want to keep expanding, if you're not saying, okay, I hit this milestone, then you're gonna get like kind of lost in the sauce or lost in the journey, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, having the vision of where you want to be, having that ultimate picture is important, but you have to have little pictures on the way there too, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like steps, but it can be, okay, in order to embody this big picture, what are the different things that it takes, right? Whether it be physically, mentally, financially, artistically, like what are those different things you need to be able to embody in order to hit that? So, yes, yes, to answer your question, do it. Do it.
We should do checkpoints. We should have checkpoints and reviews or whatever, and then just look at them and be like, hey, what did we accomplish? Because if we are making them anyways and we're printing them out, we're going to have them in front of us. So we're going to be like, morning menus
Yeah.
too. I want to start doing a morning menu, a nighttime menu. Like,
Maybe it's like the first of the month. You check, you sit down and you do like a little like half an hour review with yourself. Okay, what progress have I made for this? What progress have I made for this? Is this one stagnant right now? Okay, this one I can focus on in a month. Okay, we'll come back and you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's good to, especially we meet with different people all the time. We meet with our family, we do all these things. I think having a meeting with yourself is really beneficial, right? Like people who are married, if they're in a very healthy marriage, they're going to be meeting with their partner, going over things that they need to do or goals that they need to reach and see where they're at for on track for their family or whatever their partner goals. So yeah, it's important to do that for yourself as well.
and it's also easy to be honest. I literally just went on Pinterest and I just took a bunch of images off Pinterest because Pinterest is a lot of good images to put on your vision board. I just took a bunch of them and put them all on. Like, it's so easy. I just went one place, Pinterest, searched up a few things, boom, done, put on my board. Didn't take me that long.
Mhm. Mhm.
So now I'm passing it back.
So basically, do your vision board
Yes.
is what we're
And
just doing.
to make sure it gets done, I'm gonna pass it back to the viewer, the listener, and I'm going to invite everybody to share their vision boards on social media with us using the code. Me meaning like
The
you
code.
using the hashtag. Let's think of a hashtag. How about hashtag embody vision board,
Thinking of body vision. That
embody.
was what was in my head before
Yeah,
you
I
said
was thinking embody vision, and I was like, okay, yeah. So use
body vision 24.
use the hashtag embody vision 2024 on Instagram. Show us how your boards end up looking. And if you need any
And,
help, DM us too.
and also, before you make your vision board, if you want to be a little bit more planned, structured, to do it, sit down, whether it's on an iPad, a computer, a piece of paper, write down the main aspects in your life that you want to, or not even need to improve or want to improve, but are important to you, and write down little ideas for those. So then before you even go to your vision board, you have a bit of a structure. And then as you do it, it'll come to your brain, right? Like if you want to do something with fashion, write down a few different ideas. Okay, what's something that might seem a little bit out of reach? Okay, put that on there, right? Because once you put that on there, then you're like, okay, this is a goal. How do I do it?